10 random magic cards rated day number 78, everybody. Happy Tuesday. If you're watching the day I release these, you're probably not. Who knows? I'm just trying to keep track of time here. First card of the day is Demonic Collusion, only ever printed in Time Spiral. Still worth around $3, too. This is 5 mana, 3 and 2 black for a sorcery. Buyback, discard 2 cards. Search your library for a card, put it in your hand, shuffle your library. So, okay, yeah. I could see why this would be okay. Diabolic Tutor for a mana extra, but also discard 2. I have seen this card in my life a couple of times. I just completely forgot it existed. I love Time Spiral. It's a good set. The whole set is really, really good. It's a neat card too, man. In Commander, I imagine there's plenty of situations where you want this. Discard 2, cool. That's just graveyard fodder. I'll get them back later. Who cares? I'll flash them back or something. Even if you don't, you might just be in a situation where like you have a bunch of cards in your hand, some of which you don't care about. But you'll absolutely buy back a tutor. A buyback tutor seems singularly powerful in the Commander format specifically. So I'm going to give this, because we mostly rank for casual Commander in this series, I'm going to give this a 6. I think this card is really powerful, actually. But, you know, not powerful enough to get like a 7 something. I think a 6 is about where it's at. We'll move to Snow-Covered Plains. So all the basics get a 5. But we do rate the art, and God, do I love these. These, like, pixel art reminds me of, like, MS-DOS, you know, artwork from back in the day. These are gorgeous. These are absolutely gorgeous, and I love them. I'll give the art a 10. They're beautiful. We'll move on to Old Stick Fingers. I love you, Stick Fingers. Old Sticky Boy. This is a black and a green and X for a Star Legendary Horror. Excuse me. When you cast this spell, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards. Put all creature cards revealed this way into your yard, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Sorry. Old Stick Fingers' power and toughness are each equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So, played a lot of this, didn't we? On the stream, do you remember? You watching the streams? We played so much of this card back when it was standard legal not too long ago as I record this. And I miss him. I already miss this card, but you know, in standard currently, we still have cards like him. I miss this guy. I want to play Commander with this guy. This guy in the command zone seems really, really good, you know, for your self-milled deck. So maybe he's gone, but not forgotten. I want this card. I want this card back in my life. Sticky, come back. But Stickly over here will always have a place in my heart. But what does he actually rate? What is this card? It's a pretty unique Commander. Good for specifically this kind of deck, but it's neat that like he enables this kind of deck in Commander. There's not a whole lot of Commanders that are specifically like, you know, I'm a Lurgoyf, I also put stuff in your yard. I'm a Lurgoyf that enables itself. Like, that's good. So I'm going to give Sticky a 5.4 and mean it. Mean every word of it with my full throat. I love you, Sticky. I wish I had you back. Let's move on to Lightning Reflexes. 2 mana, 1 and a red for an enchantment. It's an aura. It enchants a creature, by the way. You may cast Lightning Reflexes as though it had flash. If you cast it anytime a sorcery couldn't have been cast, the controller of the permanent it becomes sacrifices it at the beginning of the next cleanup step. Oh my god. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has first strike. What is happening right here? This is originally from Mirage? What was it? What did it say in Mirage? Yeah, okay. It is this card. It is just this card. It's one of these. Wow. Wow. Look at that example of how modern day wording is horrible. If you cast it anytime a sorcery could not have been cast, the controller of the permanent it becomes sacrifices it at the beginning of the next cleanup step. Ugh. That is horrible wording. That's horrible. Look at this card, Lightning Reflexes. You may choose to play it as an instant. If you do, bury it end of turn. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 games first strike. Why couldn't it just be like, you may choose to play Lightning Reflexes as though it had flash. If you do, sacrifice it at end of turn. Why can't it just be that? Ugh. That's so stupid. So fun. Just for, as far as what the card actually is, I love Mirage. I always have to say that. But good combat trick. That's about it. Sometimes it's an okay aura because first strike's pretty good on your like battleship, your Voltron, you know. But wow, I'm freaking out about the current Oracle wording on this. It is really bad. It's really bad. I'm gonna give this a 3 and move on. But ugh, God, That's leave a bad taste in my mouth. Why is it worded that way? Moving on to Mountain, basic lands get a 5. This Rebecca Gay art is really, really good. I like Rebecca Gay a lot. I'm a Magic player, right? So we all like Rebecca. God, it really is beautiful. It always is. Good job, Bex. Every single time I see you. Clone Legion up next. This is 9 mana, 7 and 2 blue for a sorcery. For each creature, I just missed a word. For each creature target player controls, create a token that's a copy of that creature. Originally printed in Dragons of Tarkir, and not too many times after that, but a couple of times. 9 mana's a lot. 9 mana's so much, but like, what an elbow drop, dude. You're coming from the rafters. You are opening up the dome of the stadium and getting on the very top of it and jumping all the way down. Nuclear elbow drop through the ring, through the concrete floor if you actually play this card correctly. So I have to give it some sort of rating eventually. Ask the audience. I'll ask the audience on this one. I haven't done that this week yet. What do you give Clone Legion? Because I got nothing, man. I think I'm going to give this an honorary 5 for now because I'm a coward. 5.3. Let's go 5.3 instead. I think I'll go in there because, good Lord, if you actually resolve this effect in Commander, like, yes. just the word yes should pop up in fireworks, above you. It's yes, and just like just fanfare all around. They start a parade for you because, geez, if you actually pull it off, you deserve some sort of, celebration at that point. But it's a pretty good card. What do you guys think of it? Let's move on to Splender May up here. Scryfall is currently performing database maintenance. You'll not be able to edit your decks or modify your account. Oh, no, I won't be able to edit my decks. All my stuff's on Moxfield anyway. Splender May is 3 mana, 2 and a white for a 3/3 elk unicorn with lifelink. It cycles for 1 and a white, and when you cycle it, put a lifelink counter on a creature you control. Mwah. Delicious, beautiful Magic card right here. Could not be designed better. Really could not. It's just kind of a drafty thing. Really only printed in Ikoria, but also printed on the list at some point. 3 mana for a 3/3 lifelink. Okay, that's all right. It also has the upside of cycling for just 2 mana at instant speed. Let's go. Oh, and I get more than just a card? A lifelink counter? That seems really good. I can do that at instant speed too. Whew. So like my relatively swole guy gets through in combat, lifelink counter. I block a dude, lifelink counter. I don't know, man. Splender May is okay. I've always liked this card. But what do you actually give it? I will give this a 4.8. And yes, I do mean it. That's a really cool Magic card. Perfect design. Perfect. Decimate is up next here, printed originally a long time ago in Odyssey. This is 4 mana, 2, a red and a green for a sorcery. Destroy target artifact, target creature, target enchantment, and target land. Nuts, right? It's been nuts like the whole time. Back when this was originally printed, you would often only ever get land creature, and it's still awesome. It's still really good, man. One of the things with Ponza decks, land destruction decks back in the day, is that they had a hard time covering board state, right? Because you're trying to Stone Rain on turn 2 off of your Lana War Elves or your Soul Ring or whatever it is. You're trying to ramp into a Stone Rain on turn 2. You're trying to play Strip Mines and stuff like that. But if your opponent leaks a permanent onto the table, it's kind of hard to deal with that. Especially if it's a non-creature permanent, it can be tough to deal with. And that's where Decimate comes in, because it takes out their, 2-drop creature they succeeded in playing. It takes out their 1 or 2-drop artifact enchantment they succeeded in playing. And to get you back on track if they've actually got a 3rd mana out at some point, resolved a 3-drop. Well, take care of that 2-drop artifact, that 3-drop creature, and that land. I'm back on. So this card has always been great. It really has, man. I like this card a lot. And I'm going to give it, it's a Casualties of War. It's like, it is almost Casualties of War, but for like less mana in Gruul. Card is just good, dude. Casually cruel. Casually cruel card, dude. Especially in Commander where people work so hard to set up like a diverse board state. It's like, okay, I'll just 4-for-1 you. Jeez. It's disgusting. I'm going to give this a 6.1. 6.2. I'll give this a 6.2. I think Decimate is still like a very real Magic card, dude. So good. We'll move on to Capricious Sliver here, only ever printed in Commander Masters. This is 4 mana, 3 and a red for a 3/3 sliver. Sliver creatures you control have, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library, and you may play that card this turn. Oh, that's kind of neat. It's all right. I like some card advantage in my Slivers deck. There's other ways of getting it, but this is just another way of getting it. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, I don't know. Every time I rate these cards, they are rated only in the context of Slivers decks and like nowhere else. So keep that in mind. In a vacuum, the card's bad because it's a sliver, right? But that means you have to rate it in context of Slivers. So I'm going to give this a 5.4. I think that, you know, this kind of combat damage trigger is usually going to be pretty good. So let's go for it. No, let's give it a 5.1. You know, it's just like, it's like worse reconnaissance for Slivers, but like, it's still okay. So yeah, 5.1. I think I'll adjust a little. Perennial Behemoth is up next. This was printed in the Brothers' War. 5 mana for a 2/7 artifact creature. It's a beast. You may play lands from your graveyard, and you can unearth this for 2 green mana. It is a beast. In fact, playing lands from your graveyard is pretty good. So another Crucible of World effect for standard. And this one has really high toughness, too, I want to point out. What a butt. Big old booty on this boy right here. So that's cool and all, but has seen no play in standard. Don't expect it to see too much play in standard. May see some sparing play in commander, right, from time to time as just another redundant Crucible of Worlds effect. I do think that if we find something cool to do with the unearth effect, then like maybe, you know, if we have an effect that lets us just play lands from our graveyard, as many lands as we want in a turn or something like that, that'd be really nice. Just to get a card that even said like this turn, until end of turn, you may play lands, as many lands as you want to play. And then you can unearth this and bring all your deserts back, and they deal a bunch of damage to your opponent, and Iridescent Vine Lasher's out, and you're having a party. So, like, I do like the unearth mode on this because it's technically less than a Crucible for 1 turn. Okay. But still not amazing. I have to give it, like, a 4.9, though, just because it's very close to being a good Magic card. And again, we rank for casual Commander here, and I think it could definitely have some spots there. If only Fast Bond was legal in Commander, but alas. Let's move on to Yawgmoth. Oh, boy. Yawgmoth Thran Physician. Originally printed in Modern Horizons, and currently quite good in Modern. This is 4 mana, 2 and 2 black for a 2/4 legendary human cleric with protection from humans. You can pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature, and draw a card. You can also pay 2 black and discard a card to proliferate. Absolutely disgusting. The card is very, very good. And also quite handsome. Handsome dude. All the time I was growing up, I did not think that Yawgmoth was human. I did not at all think that. I thought he was some kind of weird demon. Unless something happened in the canon to change him from a weird demon to a human guy. I don't know what happened there, but I always thought he was a big, weird-looking demon guy back in the day. But here he is, a perfectly handsome, movie star-looking just dude, which is just off-putting to me. But still, yeah, this card is phenomenal, right? This is one of the best sacrifice outlets ever printed. Great in, like, not just the scam decks, but this guy's green-black. I hate this. I didn't mean to say scam. Although you occasionally see him pop up there, right? He's in those decks. But, yeah, green-black Yawgmoth is fantastic right now. And there are reasons for that, man. Even protection from humans is like a relevant line of text on this, but it's mostly the sacking stuff and the proliferating. You know, those are really good angles on this card. Doesn't die to bolt, doesn't die to fatal push, doesn't die to cut down, and these are all like really important things about it too. So, yeah, Yawgmoth. Currently not entirely ruling an entire format or anything, just like really, really good there. And also a great commander for what that's worth. And in this series, that's worth an awful lot. So I'm going to give Yawgmoth a 7.7. Yeah, let's go 7.7 on Yogs here. I think that this is obviously a very good Magic card. I really don't think that's debatable at all. We'll move on to final card of the day. Wow, it's Tarian Contempt. 5 mana, 3 and 2 blue for an enchantment. When it ETBs, put a rejection counter on each creature your opponents control. At the beginning of your end step, for each opponent, choose up to 1 target creature they control with a rejection counter on it. The creature's owner puts it on the top or bottom of their library. It's pretty bad. In terms of like blue sweeper effects, it's pretty unique. And it's pretty cool. But cool isn't always good. There's way better sweeps than this. And they knew it too. They put it at uncommon. I bet originally they had this at rare, and someone's like, no, let's not do that to the people. Wish they do that more often, but still. Still, I think it's a neat card, but I'm going to give it like a 4.0. Yes. Let's give it a 4.0. I don't think that it's amazing. You have to wait a whole turn to do anything with it, and even then, it only takes care of one creature. In 1v1s, it's especially ungood, so I don't know about this one, guys. Doesn't bounce, though. It puts it on top or bottom, so maybe that's slightly okay. I've never tried to play this card in Standard. Kind of has me wanting to do it, but it's a trap. Don't do it. It's bad. So I'm just going to give you a 4 and be done with it, mostly because you're unique. Not a whole lot of blue cards or any cards do this. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is everything for day number 78. Hope you had a good one. What is it, Tuesday? It's Tuesday. Hope you have a good rest of your Tuesday. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.